1st. Perfect. It is the first call of the month of April. I can't believe April is here. And at the same point in time, this year, the first quarter is done. So this is kind of your mini coaching session with me, your host, Felicia Saraceno. I'm one of your coaches here. And the awesome thing is, I mean, we're just chugging along for 2026. I know that in April, I'm looking forward to the NAR report coming out. The NAR report that is going to be coming out is for the housing industry and what our sales were last year, and who are the buyers, who are the sellers. All of that is really, really important information because we know that in 2025, when it came out for numbers for 2024, because they're always a year behind, um, the number of sellers nationwide that were seniors, considered to be seniors, was 58%. That was up from 51% the year before. So we know that trend is going up. The same for those sellers actually rebuying. It was, if I remember correctly, in the 30s in 2023, and in 2024, it was 46%. So if y'all aren't paying attention to what's happening in the marketplace right now, you got to wake up and know that this is something that we're starting to see more and more. Like I said, I read all those reports. I love data. Data is my favorite thing in the whole wide world because you know what? The numbers don't lie. Not at all. We know that the numbers are the numbers, just like when you're doing a CMA on a house. So the numbers really make a big difference, and it tells us where our demographic is going and who is buying and selling and how we need to pivot and adjust for our clients. So I see there's a few new people on here. Welcome, welcome. I'd love to hear a few wins. Tell me what your wins are, and tell me how we can make the most of your mini coaching session today.
I have a win.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I did arrange next week, I'm going to be meeting with an attorney to add to my bod. She does estate planning, wills, and trusts. And she also says she does do seminars on those subjects. So I'm going to talk to her about putting one of those together. And I've talked to my financial planner, and he also says he does that. On a regular basis and would be willing to do that. So, and now I've been working on my messaging has definitely been shifting some, and I did go visit one facility here, communities, independent living community. Really loved it. Really, the people were not just the staff, the residents. They were very happy there, and I can see why. And so I've been trying to get into a couple of others. I haven't really been able to get somebody to call me back so I can take a tour. But I've been working on that. And then I've been also working on creating my Facebook group to start attracting those people. And funny thing is, my son runs a very large online news Facebook page, and as well as a newsletter he has 197 people that look at his newsletter. And so he's going to come up with some questions and interview me to go on this Facebook page to talk about this. And I finally said to him, I said, Jared, let's think about this. I'm 67 years old. What are you going to do with me? What are you going to do with me? Do you
Yeah,
have a plan? Are you going to build me an ADU in the backyard? Do you think we can retrofit my place? I mean, what is the plan? And he said, I never really thought about it. I said, no, because you're busy living life, raising your children. You're not thinking about it. So
yeah,
even people in your age bracket need to be starting that have parents that are aging. Then they also need to say, hey, mom, dad, we need to kind of talk about this. So my messaging is I want to try and reach both kind of demographics,
yeah.
those that are going to be taking care of family and those that are still trying to make a plan and don't have all their ducks in a row.
Absolutely. And that is amazing. And it's great that you have your son who has the ability to do that. And we all can find people who can help us with that as well, which is huge. And it really helps to craft what you're doing, get your messaging out there, and make sure that at the end, your end result is you need to become the educator within this area so that folks come to you before a crisis happens. The best quote I heard, it's from Bruce Rosenblatt. He is a senior placement professional here. He's been doing it for 30 years. His quote is, "You're better off being 5 years early than 5 minutes too late." No one understands that when you want to move to a CCRC, a life plan community, if you're not familiar with what that is independent AL, memory care, and skilled all on one campus. Typically a buy-in type community, you're buying into a plan for your life. What folks don't understand is you have to pass a medical examination to move in to independent living and get the benefits of that life plan community. And when people go and they find out that they don't qualify, they're very upset. So it's great to educate, 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 and put this information out on your social. Go and interview these folks. Do a Zoom, just like what we do right now, have a split screen, ask the questions, preemptively give them the questions so that they're not caught off guard, but make it feel like you're having a conversation. And these types of things are really, really helpful. Quick tip on doing a presentation with your financial advisor and your elder law attorney, okay, your estate planning attorney. Typically, they have to get it approved by their governing board to do any type of an event. It has to run through their compliance. However, if they are guest panelist speakers on there, it doesn't have to go through a rigorous compliance, which that compliance could take up to 6 to 8 weeks. So ask them if they would be willing, if you have a shorter timeline, to be panelist, yourself, your financial advisor, and your estate planning attorney. Ask if they want to do it together. It also gives a more robust feeling to your audience, but it just helps to move things along a lot quicker. So I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear more. Awesome. Awesome. So I see there's a bunch of folks on here too. Any other wins, ahas happening? How did you find this group? What are you looking to learn? Y'all are quiet today.
Yeah, I try to join every week just to learn something different. You've got a great perspective on things because of your background. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to glom onto that and hopefully get a little more wisdom faster.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Yes. So, for those of you who may not know me, I'm a former executive director and sales director, business development for CCRCs and assisted living and memory cares in 2 states. So, I have been licensed as an administrator. And this has been my background for quite some time, quite some time. And I've moved about 400 seniors into senior living. So I'm one of your coaches for that very reason. I have insider information to provide to you. I put out a lot of feeler questions on our social media because I want to get feedback from everyone. What are you looking to learn? What's working for you? What's not working for you? As far as even like coaching, right? So we have these mini coaching sessions. Someone brought up that it's real simple. They like to go and drop off lunch to assisted livings, senior living communities. While that is a great tactic to get you in the door, if you have no plan, if there is no thoughtful follow-up reason for you to go there, except to drop something off in hopes of getting a referral, you're missing the boat. And I wanted to bring that up today. It is always a great idea to come bearing gifts, but the gifts they want to receive is beyond food and, F&B, food and beverage, right? They want to receive a referral. when you work in senior living, like I have, census, the term that was used by my corporate office was census cures all. It cures your bonuses. It cures your issues in the building. It cures your employees getting the proper amount of hours. And so their main focus is to drive people into those rooms to get heads and beds, because these are terms that I've used in the industry, being in this industry for well over a decade. Okay, so this is what their main goal is. So if we're going with how can we solve your pain point, how can we help you get heads and beds? So take, for instance, Lisa before said, hey, I have these two professionals who want to do an event. Great, perfect, spot on. What you want to do is partner with one of those buildings, those communities that needs to grow their census. They provide the food and beverage for the people attending. Breakfast and luncheons work the best because food brings people in. And they get to come see this cruise ship on land, is what we've always called them, because they have so many activities and so many things happening, right? And so when you start to partner that together, you're solving that pain point. You're solving that issue that they're having, because the more prospects they have to put into their lead generator, their CRM, because they do the same things, hots, warms, and colds, just like we do, and they need to continuously move them up. So the more that we can help provide solutions to their pain points, their problems, the better off everyone is. Now, on the flip side, on the very flip side, your goal is to partner with them so that when they do have a person who is moving in to senior living, they're asking the simple questions. And you need to come up with these questions that you have, but mine are very simple. Do you have a house to sell? Are you working with a senior real estate professional? And do you need to sell your home prior to moving in? That's it. Those are your three questions that you need to ask. And then from there, just like we got our sales funnel, we are salespeople working in real estate. Believe it or not, that's what you are. Your job is to get them from top of funnel all the way down. Senior living, your senior placement individuals, your senior move managers are there to help you get to there. Now, last week I got an independent living referral from a community that I partner with. And she says, I need you to meet with them. I need this room sold. They're the ones who want it. It's a penthouse. And I need you to close the deal for me. Can you help me? Absolutely. I went the next day. I met with them. I brought in a co-list. Because I have a team of agents down here in Southwest Florida. We went together. We spoke about what their pain points are, their hesitantness, what happens if they would move in right now, how can we help them, get this property sold in an uncertain market. Right now, it's very uncertain down here in Southwest Florida. Some of you have different markets that are happening all over the US. This is what we're seeing here in Southwest Florida. And then how are we going to bridge that gap? The room that they want, they only have 2 in the entire community out of 400 rooms. And it comes up once every 5 years. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? But we need the details in order to help. So on Monday, they signed the lease agreement with the community. Today, we are signing the listing agreement, and next week, they are moving into senior living. And so you need to have partnerships that you can showcase how you help them. I help get them over the hump, right? This is not rocket science. You have to listen, and you have to understand that when someone opens that door, just like when they said, oh, there's only 2, they come up once every 5 years. She opened a door. We went right through that door, and we just honed in on objection handling and making sure, well, what's going to happen in the next 5 years with your health? What are you most concerned with? And we just kept asking questions. And I will tell you, I always bring my listing presentation, right? I'm really big on my listing presentation that I have, what we have to offer, how we're different, and put in a small CMA. So if you're part of our coaching group, you kind of have had access to that. I left it at home and I was halfway there. And I could not turn around to go back and get my listing presentation. And so this was the first presentation I've ever done without my paperwork with me. And we didn't even skip a beat because when we had the conversation, it was more or less just like I'm having a conversation with you, and I made them feel comfortable. I knew the community. I knew the exact model that they wanted. And so once you start getting this familiarity together and you're helping them with a really tough decision, because they're going from being very, very free to now moving into a senior living community. And one of his biggest objections was, they want me to sign in and sign out every time I leave the building, like I'm a prisoner. Can you imagine that? What if I have to go get gas in my car? This is crazy. So you have to listen to the words that they're saying, and then you have to report back to the referrer and say, hey, these are their objections. I'm not here to answer those for them, but I'm here to tell you, you got to answer them, right? So it's everything's got to all gel together. And then you have to provide that high top hand holding type of situations for them. This is white glove concierge service that you're giving them. Some of them are not ready. Some might take 2 years. We've had listing agreements out that are 2 years out because at the end of the day, we're helping them along the way. They might need more decluttering or dehoarding. But this is something that we're here to help you with. I love to hear for some new folks. Louise, where are you from? Oh, and Sarah, would you like to come off mute and tell us where you're from?
Mooresville, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. I was like, Morrisville, New Jersey, I know. Where's
Yeah.
Morrisville, North Carolina? What's the closest market there?
Lake Norman
Oh,
or
okay.
Charlotte. Yep.
Yep. Very cool. I just moved 2 sellers up there from Naples. You're
Yeah.
one of our transitioned areas.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So how is your market up there?
Um, I would say a little slow, but maybe that's everywhere.
It depends. I see, I know I talked to a lot of agents from New Jersey, and they've said that they've had a slowdown from all the storms that they had. So they're like about a little bit behind, about a month behind from where their market normally is because it was like a slowdown with all of those crazy storms. And then now they're starting to catch up. I spoke with another agent from Baltimore who said things are flying off the shelves. Down here in Florida, it's like hit or miss. Everyone's looking for that right gem, that right fit.
Yep.
They're like, if it doesn't check all the boxes, I'm going to keep looking.
Yep.
And so that's what we see down here. And pricing matters, which is really important too. But when you have folks who are moving into senior living, it's our job to educate them on this market shift. And something that was really interesting that my broker said to me um, about this whole buyer seller compensation, right? We all love to talk about this. And she said to me the other day, she said, when you speak with your sellers, especially your seniors, you need to ask them, are they open to any and all offers? Because we're in a buyer's market, right? And I said, yeah, I think they would be, right? She goes, great. Since it's negotiable, accept any offer that, open the door, say, we'll accept offers to review them. Not that you're accepting them, you're reviewing them. And then review them with your clients to see how it makes sense and what the fit is. And it was just a little bit of a change of words. And this week I had someone call for one of our listings, and she asked what the buyer's compensation was. And I said, my seller is open to any and all offers to review. I threw her for a loop. She's like, I've never heard that. She's like, I've been in real estate for 25 years. And I said, my broker was telling me that we just need to look at everything because it's negotiable now. And she says, well, that makes sense. But it was like, you have to have that conversation because there's different talking points now. And each brokerage seems to have their own compliance on it and which form to use and which form not to use. Oh, drive us all crazy. But explaining this to 90-year-olds, 95-year-olds, it's sometimes a little bit challenging, right?
Well, I sold a house up in Lake Pippin here, and he was an 85-year-old going into an assisted living community. And when we talked about, this compensation, and he said, well, Lisa, it just really depends on the offer.
Yeah,
He said, I'll say I'll give 1%. And I must have looked a little surprised. And he said, but if the offer's good, and they ask for something more, I may be willing, but it really depends on the offer and the terms. I
yeah,
said, and that's what I would tell the agents. And when they would ask, I said, he's offering this, but if you want to ask more, he's going to consider what the price is and what the terms are, and then he'll decide.
yep, that's it. And I think it's a whole shift. It's a whole shift for us still. But sometimes we have to look at this too. When was the last time that these sellers sold a home? Some of them haven't sold a home ever. Some of them haven't sold a home in 10, 15, 20 years. And maybe they sold a home in a different state than when they lived in. So it's a shift. And so there's a lot of fun stuff that's coming down the pike for us here for training purposes that we're going to be diving into a little bit more for attracting more sellers into your marketplace. So we're going to be teaching that hopefully very soon, which is awesome. We're going to get that on the docket. But yeah, I love hearing from all of you, and tell us any struggles that in the next 10 minutes or so that we have left. What are some of your pain points that you need to objectively overcome?
This is Louise Thompson. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Hi,
I
Louise.
heard my name mentioned and I'm going, I'm just getting out of the shower. This is not a good time to talk. So I hope you understand. Corey invited me to this. He said you have a daily mastermind. I could only find the Monday, Wednesday, Friday ones.
Yeah, that's all we have. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay, well, I misunderstood. That's a good thing then.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But I met him a long time ago, or at least a couple of years ago, not in person, just online or whatever.
Oh,
And yeah, he's really rocking it. I am a little bit different. I am in Indiana, East Central Indiana, generally east of Indianapolis, but I can go to Indy. It's just easier to be in this rural area. The price points are low. So investors are very happy. A lot of first-time home buyers, rural enough to do USDA financing. So I can always tell when somebody's from India and they don't have any clue what USDA financing is. But it just keeps chugging along. We don't have the highs and lows of the East and West coasts, but we just keep chugging along. But yeah, you can get a pretty decent house for $150,000. So I do quite a few transactions. I'm really trying to focus on seniors. I've been an SRES for like 5 or 6 years. But really working on focusing on seniors.
And now it's
Um,
taking that and stepping it up to actually put it into more than just the letters behind your name. Like, how are we implementing this? How are we
yeah.
working with our bod? If you're not familiar with the bod term, that's from Coach Paul. It is your board of directors. Think of it
Okay.
a circle.
Hmm.
You're in the center like a donut. You're in the center, and the people are sitting at a seat, no different than a board of directors. Every brokerage has a board of directors. In our brokerage, Leo is at the center. He has 5 or 6 people who are on his board who are there to, help with guidance, with questions, with everything that is going on with the organization. This is your organization, and who are you partnering with to help you through this journey? Who are you going to help with bringing them a referral and always bearing gifts to them first, and then them in return giving you a referral? And this is a whole strategy. His calls on Mondays at 10, 10. Oh my goodness.
I double booked myself on Monday, but hey,
Yeah,
it was a closing.
oh, that's
$100,000
a
is
good one. We don't
okay.
want to miss that. We don't. But the good news is we do go live on our YouTube channel. So Jessica, can you just put our link to our YouTube channel up on the Facebook group to remind people that our morning calls are always going to be replays are going to be found there. And then it's a great thing for you as well. And then Corey's does one at 11:30 Eastern, so it's a late bloomer time for our West Coasters. So we like to, have a little bit of variety during the week. But this
Okay.
this is amazing. I love all of the folks who are here today. So I'd like to hear from some others that I haven't heard from. Tell us how things are going for you in the senior niche, and what are you hoping to learn? What is something that you're hoping to get educated on? I'm trying to open the chat, make sure there's nothing missing in there.
Well, can I jump in?
Of course.
Last week you talked about the, the the key resources you have, and we're talking outside the assisted living communities, and you're talking about the attorneys, etc. How do you? What was your approach when you got down to Naples years ago? What was your approach for breaking in to some of those services that are needed, and how'd you go about it?
That's a great question, and I'm going to give you the easiest answer ever. So, networking groups. I went to networking groups and I would meet people. I would sit at a table that I didn't know anybody. And I did meet one person in particular who took me around on my first time and introduced me to everyone, which is overwhelming, right? Especially when you're in a room with 60 or 70 professionals. And then I just kept going every month and meeting with them. Within that month, I would host about 5 coffee and chats every a month. So at least one a week. A lot of times, because of I'm very structural. I come from a corporate background. Okay. So I like structure. Wednesdays is my day to go out into the community. So what I would do is say, okay, I'm going to meet you for coffee at X time. So I would say I got a half hour to meet with you, and then I would stack 3 of them all together. And then at the same point in time, it was like, okay, great. It was so great to meet you. I'm so fortunate to have another folks who are meeting me at the same place. Now, when I went to go meet for coffee, I always went to a local coffee shop, not a chain, because I got to meet the people who were there. And
Hmm.
I have a double agenda because I do a lot of fundraising. So when I did that and they saw me all the time, when it was there for me to ask for a gift certificate for an upcoming fundraising event, they're like, "Oh, we see you here all the time." So I do that on purpose. I also do that for restaurants as well. When I have clients that come into town, I don't go to chains. I go to mom and pop right places, because as they see me coming in, when the script needs to be flipped, that's how you build those relationships, right? And then I also do like a quick recap of today's coffee. This is what we are doing. This, have you ever been here before? And I always try and double up with that. So that is what I did to break in. I would invite them out for coffee and I would build that relationship. Whoever I was meeting with, I always tried to see if I could bring them a referral. Home care is real tough because those come once a quarter, so to say. But people do call me and ask me, who should I use for home care? The questions that I ask for home care are, what are their specialties? How far do they serve? Is there any other questions that I could ask to help get them clients? Now, when it comes time for what are their specialties, I'm drilling down past, because this is my clinical background coming to me. I'm non-clinical, but I've worked in clinical for years. I'm drilling down past Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm drilling down to Parkinson's. Are you a Parkinsonian champion? ALS and MS, because those are the things that I am seeing that the younger baby boomers and the older Gen Xers are facing right now. So I know that there are 96 home care agencies registered in my county. It's crazy. 96. But I only know 2 of them that can care for someone with ALS. I only know 3 of them that accept Sunshine Medicaid as payment. And on top of that, I know probably about a handful that are Parkinson's champions that have specialized training with the Parkinson's National Organization. And so when people ask me questions, and this comes up time and time and time again, I need someone. Who can you help me? Who can you recommend? I don't come back with, I'm here to recommend people. I take that word out of my vocabulary, so take it out of yours. Recommend will come back to bite you. Here are options in our area that can serve your needs. And I list them and say, I understand, because, we're seeing more and more of MS and ALS. Parkinson's is a huge, huge, we're number 2 in the country for Parkinson's in Southwest Florida. Number 1 is the Midwest. And so I am able to say, these are the providers that have additional training that can serve your needs. So it's a play on words, but you want to make sure that you keep it at top line. But getting back to how did I break in, that is what I did over and over and over again. And I kept a list. If y'all have been on my trainings, I have 70 per people on my bod, 70. It's an inner bod and an outer bod. And I rate them from an A, B, and C type of a situation. And I'm always trying to move my C's up to B's and my B's up to A's. And then I go like A+, A+++, because A+++ refers to me every month. So I'm always making sure that I'm working with them to help. Last night, I just got a referral from my senior move manager. You have to remember that when I go on a listing appointment, I'm looking around. And I was looking around last week, and I'm like, who's going to help you move? They're moving into an 1,800 square foot penthouse, which is pretty big for senior living, right? That's with like 7 closets, okay? But I'm looking around they have all statues, art commissioned pieces, and I'm like, what are we doing with all of this? Because it's not going to fit. And they had a sofa that was about 15 feet long by 10 feet long. And I'm like, they're going to fit in the living room. So I said, who are you using? And they said, oh, the salesperson told me to reach out to this senior move manager, but we just haven't yet. We don't know if we should just get a regular mover. And I doubled down on them and said, listen, you need to call this senior move manager. Yes, they are going to be more expensive, but neither one of you are in the position to actually pack up this house get it ready for movers and move. You need someone to do it for you. And then we need someone to tell you what to do with the rest of the stuff. And then you have collectible items and how are we going to get them sold? They had so much in there that I was like, my senior move manager was going to handle it. I don't even want to touch it. Right. So it's referring to them. And then when I left there, following up with everyone to tell them, I just met with XYZ. I gave them their number. I know the salesperson did, but they were hesitant on calling you. I doubled down for you. You should be getting a call from them. And so it's like, yes, I wasn't the original referrer, but I helped push them along to say, you need some. And so as you start to build this, you have to start by putting in the work. You have to put the time in. I do coffees. I don't do lunch. I don't have an hour and a half to spend on lunch. I got a half hour for coffee. I need to get through as many people as possible. And that's what you need to do. You need to get through as many people as possible. You need to ask what their top 3 questions are to get business. And then you better have your questions ready for them. And say, in return, these are mine. And let them know, I wanted to come here bearing gifts and bringing you a referral. I just haven't, had anyone need your services. But is there anyone that you need a professional connection with? And they might say, I've been trying to get in with XYZ community. Do you know them? And you just may know them. And you can do a warm intro either with a text or an email. I prefer emails because then I can keep track better. But you have to see how you can help them. And what pain point can you help to solve? So that was a long-winded answer, David. Sorry.
No, but that was a big aha for today. You mentioned the 70 the 70 home care and home health care. And as I've met with several of them around here, I didn't ask the question of the specialties.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even realize that because this is not my, this is a learning experience.
Yep.
So it gives me an excuse to call them back, number one, but also improve my interviews with those agencies. So that's pretty good.
You
I
don't
had one
know
of,
what you know. You know?
yeah, I have one other question. You said provide the assisted living communities, give them the 3 questions they should ask, and that's, do they have a house to sell? Are they working with an experienced senior professional? What was the third question?
And do they need to sell prior to moving in?
Okay.
Because some people do. Some people cannot fathom paying for a property, even if it doesn't have a loan, a mortgage on it, and paying to move into senior living. That's overwhelming for them. So you need
Okay.
to make sure that you ask that question. And then how can we get a time certain sale within their time frame is the question that you now need to internalize when you get that to say, okay, market states that the house is valued at say 650,000. Everyone around them has the houses on the market for 750,000 and they've been on the market for 148 days. So how are we going to bridge that gap? Because sellers are still of the mindset that their house is all the way up here, right? And they go, why isn't my house selling? Why isn't my house selling? Well, it's price. Price, 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 price. Not
It,
that the
it,
home
it,
isn't beautiful. Price.
it's interesting for the houses that do go under contract. If you look on on those days of market, listing to contract, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
At least in some areas, it's under 60 days, but you've got houses that are sitting there for 150, 200 days. And clearly the ones that are priced right are selling. That's the message that I carry forward just by showing them the data.
that's it. Numbers don't lie. That's what I always say. The numbers don't lie. We know what our numbers are, and the numbers tell the story. And right now, we just have to find that buyer. And the last thing I'll leave you with is remember your migration pattern, because that's going to help you find that buyer. So if I know there's an LFG call when you look on one of my calls for the migration pattern on our YouTube channel. I'll try and find that and put that up on the free Facebook group. But you have to figure out and be different from others. and, really go out there and look at your resources outside of senior living. Right now, there's a lot of talk of going into senior living, senior living, senior living. But remember, my core referrers are elder law for probate. So if you're not getting that, you're missing the boat. Senior move managers, senior placement, and then senior living.
So what if like I went on looking, in my area, we don't have any senior move managers. I mean, I even went to the website and look, there's
You went on to
nobody.
now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So ask the senior living communities who they're using to help move them in.
Okay.
Easiest way to go. Who's helping moving them in? How can I partner with them? And then let them know about NASM because it's a great database and there's great training on there too for senior move managers, and loop them in on it. Just like I have like barely any CAP certified construction contractors here. I found one, and it's like, y'all need to get up to speed on this. If you're putting in age in place options and chair rails and grab bars and you're putting in ramps, well, why are we not doubling down, getting the additional caps for that contractor so that they can now market to that group of folks? And then I can help them market to there. When there's only one, it's like, really? We only have one? So those are things that you can, education, and just let them know, because you don't know what you don't know, which is really important. All right. So any last words before we go? Louise asked, what is the name of the Facebook page? I'm going to switch over and pull it up for you. Any last thoughts, ahas? Did you find this helpful today?
Yes.
Are you
Very.
watching online? What did you find helpful? Shout them out. Let's go, boy. We have a few minutes left.
Two things. I already gave you my ahas on the healthcare agencies. The other one was the ranking of your referral partners, I guess is the best way to put it, elder law and et cetera. I've probably been spending more time on this on senior living and not as much on the other areas, which are probably more valuable. So that's
It's
my that's
it's
my ahas today.
it's a dancing, I would say it's a dancing point. You have to find what's going to work for you. And I've told you all of this before. I'm putting this in right here, the link right here for our Facebook group. You have to find what's going to fuel your fire. And if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it's not yielding you the decision, the referrals that you need, the resources that you need, and you're putting 20 hours a week into pushing on this, then we need to pivot and shift to what is going to work for you. I'm very intimately connected to my senior placement advisors, and they are placing 8 to 10 people
Hey,
a month.
Stephanie.
So 8 to 10.
I'm good. How are you?
Someone. And when they're moving those in, I just need one a month. How can you get me into one a month? And I understand. Look, everyone says my niece, my cousin, my neighbor, my lady at church is a realtor. Great. But are they a real estate specialist that serves seniors? And the answer is always no. Okay. Would you give me an opportunity to meet with me? You might learn something. I might be able to help you with one thing. And that is how I get, on average, 29 referrals a year from my bod. You just have to keep creating them. And there's times where, it's not an actual science. And I'll leave you with this, and then I gotta head out of here. There's times where people are really, really pushing for referrals, and then they come down. And then I pivot and shift, and someone else takes their place. It's going to happen. So it's an ever moving resource for you. And that's why if you are members, I have that referral sheet for you so that you can keep track. I can't keep track in my head of all of those referrals from last year. I just can't do it. I remember when they tell me, but I can't keep track of who gave me John Doe. And sometimes it's two people are giving it to me at the same time. So I have to be able to keep track somehow. So when you get up on your numbers, you have to make sure, to pivot, shift, keep track. And then I do referral pop-bys once a quarter for them. And then always send them a referral gift the minute that they give you a referral and a thank you note, which is really important. So I hope you all found this helpful. If you are new to us, I put in the Facebook group. The Facebook group name is Senior Mastermind Group Productive Aging Collective. We are a little over 1.12. I'm getting a showing request. We are a little bit over 1,200 folks in this. Invite folks to it who want to learn and let us know how we could best serve you. So thank you so much for showing up today. And I hope I gave you some nuggets to go out there and slay the day.
Thank
All
you.
right.